Did you like the Super Bowl halftime show?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Even though some people were all hater ass on the weekend.
Everyone was like, what did they say? Us. They were saying the guys look like the
Oh.
people dressed from Us.
I told Dom, I was like, they look like a bunch of Lupins out there.
Oh, good point. Yeah, I like that.
Lupin the Thirds.
Dun, 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 dun. No, I thought it was cool. I liked it.
I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Was it last year's? No, not by a long shot.
That's what we were saying. It's like not even close.
No contest.
You know who is close though, Joe? Facebook.
Hello, Facebook. You need to back up a little bit. Back the heck up.
Preferably 6 feet.
More.
Please and thank you.
10 feet. Y'all stanky.
That'll work too. This is the pick and pop of the We Got Next podcast. That's super producer Joe.
Yo!
Running the double team this week. I'm your host, co-creator of the show, of the We Got Next podcast. Hello, Facebook. If you're not joining us on Facebook Live, you should be. We do this thing every week at almost the same time. There's no excuse for you. Suckers. Search We Got Next podcast for Facebook Live. It's as simple as that. Find us also wherever podcasts are available. At We Got Next Pod. On Twitter. At We Got Next Pod. On Instagram. Gonna throw some more videos at you soon. I keep saying this. I know. I'm sorry. We got a whole bunch of stuff for you today. Joe, tell him. You tell him. I don't want to tell him.
I was like, is he pitching this to me? What's going on here? You're over here looking like Patrick Mahomes. You just did all this running around, and then you threw it, and I freaking it hit me in the face mask, and I dropped it. I'm sorry.
You're like, I got it. Was it the Little Giants where it gets stuck in his face?
I was thinking that too. Every time someone got hit in the face mask, it's like they just need one of those little giant ones. Like that's what they need. Or like the replacements, they needed that Orlando Jones. Yep, when he had looked like a jacked off an elephant. Like, oh, what a classic! What a classic movie.
At the buzzer, we got a whole bunch of things in At the Buzzer. Joe, what's one of them you're talking about?
No, you're. What did Roy Wood Jr. call it? Melanin syndrome, where your skin color makes people mistake you for somebody else with the same skin color. That's what we're talking about. I'm gonna find this.
We're catching you up on COVID happenings all over sports, not just one in particular. There is one that is affecting our home team, the Texas Tech basketball Red Raiders, the only team worth mentioning on the men's side. On the men's side, let me rephrase that. NBA All-Star night. As I talked about last week, I'll expand upon that later. Who really are the GOATs? Tampa Bay
God.
being your Super Bowl champions. But Joe is leading us off with this one.
Mama Mahomes, apparently a bit too chirpy on Twitter. Sorry, moms, but according to ESPN's Next Gen Stats, Mahomes ran a total of 497 yards. Except that was behind the line of scrimmage and all that stuff. Ooh. That's the most pre-throw, pre-sack yards run by any quarterback in any game this season. Mina Kimes, she said here, Brady was pressured 9.5% of dropbacks in the first half. Mahomes 57%. So yeah, he was like,
Yeesh.
yeah, it was real bad. So
did you enjoy the game?
No.
No, I'm in the same boat as you, dude. It wasn't fun.
It was. As soon as
it was fun in the first half, and then I forgot what turnover it was.
When Tampa Bay scored the first touchdown, because the Chiefs I think got on the board as a field goal. Tampa Bay scored the first touchdown, and then another field goal, and then that second touchdown, I was like, yeah, it's a wrap. It's like halfway in the second. That was it. I was like, we just gotta stick around and see some more of this the halftime show, and then some more of these whack commercials, and then yep.
Yeah, the Super Bowl as a whole wasn't fun.
It hasn't been for me.
We got to be around family. We got to be around mom and dad and them, but that was about the only thing that made it fun.
Yeah, it hasn't.
For the most part, we were just chilling. We were just talking.
I was doing research from my desk, my new little setup here. I was like looking at the game on my computer, looking at the game. So it's like we had some good food. We made chicken shawarma. It was awesome. We had to do it though. We had to do it to him, John.
You know what wasn't awesome? The game.
I know in the group chat I was like, man, I'm glad our dinner at least is better than the game. Shoot. God dang.
I'm glad we didn't pay for the Super Bowl this year, like we did last year when we got scammed.
You got what? I was about to say they sold you tickets to. Here's this QR code, and it's like
yeah, you
just,
get the ultimate
something.
VR experience. Awesome.
You have to have VR, and it's like you got like.
But it sucked because when I looked down, I was like a white dude.
Yeah, the game. It was okay.
Yeah, I wasn't excited about it. I was at the beginning. It was great until Mahomes did that turnover. We could tell they struggled early to get the ball down the field, and I guess I'll start jumping into this one. Let me mark the timestamp here. But yeah, it just wonk. I should do solo shows more often. Is what
I know we're just way up. We're way off. I'm crazy.
We're wacky today.
Wacky.
Yeah, 31-9. It was the end score for that one, and it never felt close. Even after the Chiefs' first drive, this game it didn't look like it was going to go their way.
Nah,
at all. Were you concerned though about Mahomes coming in, with the foot injury, his offensive line?
I was more. His foot injury didn't really slow him down, which I expected. The type of player that he is, he's gonna go off. Like you saw, it didn't stop him from having to scramble to even just have a chance to throw the ball. So like, I was more concerned about his offensive line being patched together, tackles moved to guards and which ways and all that stuff. And it showed. Like that was the biggest concern of the whole night. And then obviously their defense is just like on cruise control, but like in a bad way.
Yeah. Where they were at the entire postseason.
Yeah,
we're gonna take a night off. The wrong night for them to take off.
I know.
But some people are discrediting Mahomes because they were like, yeah, now you see what you don't get when the offensive line.
It's not his fault. He played a heck of a game. That one where he like was basically super flat sideways, side arms it right into old boy's face. I don't even know who it was because they all dropped passes. They did not help him at all. Boom, just right off his face. He was in the end zone too, and I was like, dang, they're just gonna let him down at halftime or before halftime. I was like, dang, they've just been letting him down the whole night. And I was like, watch this be like they keep doing this, and then they kept doing this, and then I was just like, yep.
Nothing changed.
Yep.
It bothers me with that is that they kept running deep routes down the field. They weren't opening anything up underneath. But also credit Tampa Bay's defense, dude. They were stacked. They were loaded. And it showed what some of the best front four can do in the NFL.
And they didn't even have...
It was kind of the same... It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. You get those guys in his face and they won't perform.
We've seen that against Brady before, and even Peyton Manning's, all those types of players. We've seen that before. It's like you smash them, even if they can scramble. We've seen Tony Romo that happen to him too. They can scramble, sure, cool, but that's only your feet are only gonna get you so far if your dudes can't freaking catch.
Another takeaway from this, Tom Brady looked good. He drastically improved. He had all that time for prep, all that time to kind of get away from the game for a little bit since it was a 2-week layoff.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't pick the Bucks to win only because of the concern that I had for Brady and how soggy he looked in the NFC Championship. Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't know about this one. Still throwing all those interceptions.
Yeah, I picked the Chiefs to win too, and for the reasons that I thought that they were gonna win. Like, oh man, they're such a high-powered offense and this and that. But then the linemen.
The defense will wake up, and that's what everyone was
Yeah.
expecting to happen in the second half. The defense is going to give them a chance. They're going to get the ball back, and they're going to score. And it never mustered up to anything.
On defense, Tampa Bay, like you said, they have a really strong line. They were running stunts they didn't even have to run with, like, linebackers like stacking the box or like stacking one side or the other, and then coming out into coverage instead of like blitzing and like doing all kinds of crazy stuff they didn't even have to do, and it just messed them up, dude. Like there was like a third quarter, there was a bunch of cuts they had pieced together where it was like their receivers are just running and they were just constantly covered. Like they couldn't get anything.
They looked like they were not in sync.
Mhm.
Like there was a lot of miscommunication for Mahomes and his receiving core.
Yeah.
It sucked. I wanted it to be a better game, and I think that's what everyone was hoping. Sorry if I said to take the over on that one. To me, not my fault.
Lucky you though if you had 1 and 9 as your squares. Like
I think I know somebody that did.
Not good numbers sometimes, like 21, but yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't fun. I wanted it to be fun, and it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
What is fun is this crazy ass trivia I'm about to throw at you. USA Today. No NFL franchise has won more than 6 Super Bowls. The Patriots, the Steelers are tied for the lead at 6. But now trailing Brady, both of those organizations, by 1 trophy.
Dang.
Which doesn't make any sense. Why would you write it like that? Like the teams can. The Patriots beat Tom Brady's record. Like that.
They're trying to inflate his balls, man. Come on.
Bill Belichick, you sir have some work to do to convince us you haven't been carrying TB12's water all these years.
Oh my god.
That's another argument that I don't like from this too. It's like, yeah, Tom Brady is the system somewhat, but it's not. It's just him.
Yeah.
Those New England defenses were good and great.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not. And I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. I mentioned it last week. Great defenses with mediocre offenses will more than likely win the Super Bowl. And that's exactly what happened this.
We've seen the Giants come through on that several times.
Yeah, we have. Although this offense is actually good. So they kind of balance everything out. Good call by the Bucks opting to wear white jerseys after they lost 27-24 to the Chiefs in Tampa while wearing red in Week 12.
Superstitious.
Very superstitious, Joe.
Writing's on the wall, dude. Brady
is now 5-1 while wearing white on Super Sunday.
5-1.
He is 2-2 otherwise.
Man, I love stats.
The Bucks joined the Baltimore Ravens as the only club with multiple Lombardi trophies, but no losses on Super Bowl Sunday.
Nice.
Call the Bucks TB2. Who wrote this?
I thought you were being corny on purpose. That somebody actually got the okay to write this.
Somebody wrote this.
Oh, jeez.
The article is 55 things we need to know about Super Bowl Sunday.
55? Are we going through all of them?
I'm not. No, I'm not.
You sure?
Mahomes is 6-0. I'm positive. No, Mahomes is 6-0 in the playoffs when not facing a Brady-led squad. Brady is now 2-0 against Mahomes in the postseason. This is the stat that got me. 1-2 in the regular season against Patrick Mahomes. I was like, oh yeah, make it 1-3 or 0-3. No, it would be 1-3. Sorry.
Yeah.
I had the math. Also, it's regular season. Never mind. I'm closing this article. This is the most watched Super Bowl since the Patriots Seahawks in 2015. They had 114 million views, and in this one, 96.4 million views.
Dang.
Pretty good.
That's impressive. That's impressive because the Super Bowls or the NFL's ratings have been down just overall, and then getting that many people to tune in during this pandemic, like live TV has been suffering like that. So that's impressive.
It's funny that you say that. Lowest TV viewership since 2006. Online viewership went up 5.7. It was tabulated at 5.7 million per minute.
Yeah, we had the
that's from Jay Busby at Yahoo.
Jay Busby. Did he write those lame jokes? Those lame headlines? Those little. Is that him?
No. That was USA Today.
Oh, okay. USA Today. God dang y'all.
So everyone's calling Tom Brady the GOAT. I'm just gonna jump into this next story here. Who's really the GOAT, Joe? Tom Brady,
No.
only NFL player with 7 Super Bowl championships. Michael Jordan, because he has 6 rings with Chicago's Bulls back in the day in the 90s, which almost everybody grew up on and is influenced somewhat by him. Even though players are like, no, Kobe Bryant influenced me. Like, well, by way of Chicago, so let's not get that twisted. Yogi Berra's granddaughter, Lindsay, decided to put his hat in the ring.
What?
Yeah. Here's her tweet. Tom Brady's 7 Super Bowl rings and 10 appearances over 21 years is an amazing accomplishment. Makes you realize just how incredible that is. Grandpa, Grampa, won 10 World Series rings in 13 appearances over 18 years. All with #Yankees, #Great 8, #Yogi Berra forever, #10 rings, #MLB.
Shang-Chi and the 10 rings? Yeah, I can't wait for that. I didn't hear anything else she had to say there. It
was actually Yogi Berra.
Shang-Chi, Yogi Berra and the 10 rings. He's the Mandarin.
Wow.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
People also tend to forget about Bill Russell and his ring collection.
I know. God dang. He can't even lift his hands up to eat cereal, how heavy his rings are. But we all know the real answer to this, though.
Serena Williams.
Oh, yeah. She has like...
Serena Jamaica Williams. 23 singles Grand Slams. 14 doubles Grand Slams. 2 mixed doubles Grand Slams. 4 Olympic gold medals. She held all 4 Grand Slams at once. Twice in her career.
Yeah, that's mad impressive.
Most hardcourt Grand Slams of any active player at 13. And she won the Australian Open when she was pregnant.
I think this argument really, there's no argument here, because if you're saying GOAT, greatest of all time, it's Serena Williams, straight up.
Well, I say it like this. When I was planning, we had that draft for the podcast that we never did, but I was gonna do like GOAT in each sport, and then have like a pool from us to pick from. But the reason why this argument had started, because I think Bleacher Report posted a picture, and it was like, who's the greatest athlete of all time? Tom Brady was the least athletic person on the photo.
Yeah.
It had Michael Phelps, it had Serena, it had LeBron James. I think Kobe Bryant was on there. And somebody else.
Tony Hawk?
Messi or Ronaldo.
Oh, it was Ronaldo, I think.
Yeah, but I get it. I get the argument for athlete. Oh, Tiger Woods was on there too. Someone was trying to come at that post sideways, and she was all, Tiger Woods isn't even an athlete. I don't even know why he's on there. Like, well, he changed the whole training regimen and is like, he didn't necessarily lead the youth movement. He planted the seed that started the youth movement of like the past 5 years. So to say, and you have guys training like to do more core stuff and like smack the ball 300 plus yards, like that's insane. That's crazy. But the way people approach golf now is almost like how athletes approach their sport.
Yeah.
So to put him on that list, I totally agree with. But to go back to what we were saying about Serena,
that's unprecedented.
She's here at the top, and everybody else is like,
they're not even on the screen. No. Don't put your hand there. Go. They're all the way off the screen. Like, that's how big this gap is. People talk about Mount Rushmores and all this stuff. There's a whole Mount Everest between her and whoever's the closest to her. Also, people.
That's what I was saying.
It sounds like people are just mad that a black, strong woman is at the top of this, and everybody else is all salty about it. Not.
She has the most majors, I think. Men or women. Man or woman.
And the most doubles. God dang it. Although that's not fair, because her and her sister are awesome, so that sucks.
That's crazy. Michael Phelps, to put other people in perspective, has 23 gold medals.
Dang.
Second place, 9 medals. Wayne Gretzky has more assists than any other NHL player has points.
Yeah, no, not
Someone
even.
had said if you took Wayne Gretzky's points and his assists and made them like as one person in a fantasy draft, people would get the assists draft pick first over the points. That's crazy.
I can see that.
That's crazy. That's awesome. But the end of this discussion is Serena Williams is the greatest athlete of all time. All-Star voting. The first returns are in.
I forgot about
the West.
this.
Yeah, no. Leading the West, LeBron James, 2.2 million votes. Steph Curry for the guards, 2.1 million. Your boy, Nikola Jokic, 1.4 million, representing the front court. Luka Doncic, 1.3, even though, Dallas is kind of on the skid right now.
Yeah.
They don't look very swaggy-rific.
Is that what they say? Is that what Dallas does?
Some people were saying, there was an article I read earlier that was talking about how Dallas doesn't seem to have its youthful swagger as it did last season. Good. Kawhi Leonard for the front court, 1.2 million. Damian Lillard, put some respect on his name. He only has 998,000.
Dang.
Whack. Anthony Davis also made the list. John Morant, good for him, 257,000. And then to go on the list to round out the top 5 for both positions, Paul George in the front court and Donovan Mitchell. Klay Thompson is still on this list, which is weird.
What?
At 99,000.
That's whack.
Why is he getting votes?
That's whack. People like his commentary, I guess. He's pretty good.
You can't get votes for that.
He's a little bit. He's just shy of being like right where he needs to be in terms of charisma. I'll say that.
He knows his role.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. Front court for the East. Kevin Durant, 2.3 million. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 1.7. Joel Embiid, 1.5. Jason Tatum at 822,000. Jimmy Butler right behind him at 327,000. It's a big gap there.
Mm-hmm.
The guards, of course, Bradley Beal doing the damn thing, but stuck in career purgatory in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Bradley Beal, 1.2 million. Kyrie, 1 million. Harden, 1 million, right behind Kyrie, actually. Jaylen Brown for Boston, 590,000.
That's such a huge gap.
Right. And then it's a little bit closer there. Zach LaVine for Chicago. Chicago's a little surprised by them. But, that's the good news for that. The bad news about this is not even. LeBron James said last Thursday that it felt like, quote, a slap in the face, end quote, to hold an exhibition during the coronavirus pandemic with little warning to the players who believed they were actually getting a 5-day break. Giannis Antetokounmpo, James Harden said Friday that they would rather spend time with their families, while Leonard argued that the NBA was, quote, putting money over health, end quote. Also, he talks. Meanwhile, Kevin Durant tweeted his frustration with the league's contact tracing policy. They didn't test him for the games that they said he was going to be out. They just said you can't play due to the contact tracing.
Oh,
which is a little weird. He tweeted the other night, "Free me" or something like that. Which, I mean, my guy, you're not locked up.
No, not even in the slightest.
No, it was a little bit of an overreaction. I get where he's coming from with this. At the same time, you're not allowed to play a basketball game.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Let's not blow this up here, Durant. The second time this season that Durant has been sidelined by that's from Ben Golliver from the NBA.
Dang. Well, if he just did what he was supposed to do, then he wouldn't have to.
See, but the trouble with this, and we talked about this before, is like they're not going to know where it's coming from.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you're allowing all these people to be in close proximity. You're allowing all these people to be in the building. In some cases, you're allowing fans to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
But do the players have a legitimate complaint for this season's All-Star game?
Yeah, the season started too soon already, so that's a huge complaint. And then it just seems weird to have All-Star Weekend when you can't even really have people. Like when they had wide shots of the Super Bowl, like or the sky camera and all that stuff, I was just like, oh, there's a lot of people here.
That's nobody there.
No, there was
at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a lot of people there, and events like this thrive on the crowd. They thrive on the audience. But just the fact that you already had a rushed season opener, like right after, what was it, like 6 weeks or something like that after the end of the last season, jumping right into this one, and then you get an All-Star break. I'll quote All-Star break. Like, nah. That seems like too much.
All-Star night,
we
not
just
All-Star weekend.
we're playing horse. We all wanted this. Like, what is it?
I think I saw that it was 300 plus million in revenue that the NBA makes during this weekend.
Oh shoot.
Which I get why that's an issue, but Adam Silver is supposed to be for the players, and he was off to a great start for a couple of years, and then it just turned into who do I need to make happiest, more happy than the other. It sucks. That's a tough position to be in.
Yeah.
I agree with the players though, and I said this last week. If we don't need it, we don't need it.
I think we'll be fine. If we miss,
game,
yeah,
it's the best in the world. People are going to be starved for sports anyway since this football season's over.
It's so superfluous. Yeah, it's so superfluous too. Like, especially with everything that's going on. You know, like, what do we need a celebration of basketball for right now? Like, again, some people would debate we barely even needed most of these sports going on, but it doesn't. It seems like a really misplaced judgment to still continue All-Star Weekend.
Various sports landscapes are changing, or at least have been changed over the last 2 weeks. Number 2 in college basketball, Baylor men's basketball team has had their next 3 games postponed due to accordance to the Big 12's interruption guidelines. So, if y'all don't know this, Baylor has already had 2 games postponed this season versus TCU this past Saturday, and then a road game versus Oklahoma was scheduled for this week, but Baylor is now also going to miss their next 3 games versus Texas Tech, who will be playing right after this live stream is over. February 13th, West Virginia on the 15th, and then West Virginia again on the 18th. One of those games was rescheduled and moved to a later date. Baylor, by the way, still undefeated, 17-0, 9-0 in the Big 12. The program, and a lot of people are kind of salty about that too. The program, Tech lost their rank in the top 10 when they first got it. They went from 10 to 13 because they couldn't play TCU. Yeah, that was a whole thing. But Baylor has yet to drop out of the top 10. The program has had to postpone or cancel several games this season, dating all the way back to November when Baylor withdrew from the Empire Classic. After the head coach, Scott Drew, tested positive for COVID. Baylor also postponed a game in December against Gonzaga. And yeah, they went on their own pause a week later, causing 2 more postponements. Yeah, people are pretty upset about that. And I totally understand that. NCAA women's side, excuse me, just like the men's tournament this season, the entire NCAA women's tournament will be held in one location. So it'll be in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome. And what they're going to do with that, to kind of trim this down very quickly, the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, and the Final 4 will be held in the Alamo Dome. So the tournament will use 5 different locations in the area for the first round, including one site at the University of Texas in Austin. So that's about 80 miles north of San Antonio, for those that don't know that. Is that a good idea? You think that's a good idea? Or they're trying to minimize as much loss as they did like last season?
That's exactly what it sounds like. They're trying to... They have a blueprint from last year, and they're trying to like slightly improve it this year. It's like the blueprint being, hey, this one load-bearing column was all that it needed, and the bleachers wouldn't collapse or something like that. And they're just, now they added one right next to it is basically what they're doing. It's still not a good way to set this blueprint up, and like this structure doesn't seem very sound with per this metaphor I just made up because I'm smart. No, I don't. It doesn't seem. It's hard to be hyped about college sports in general, just because I already stopped watching college sports. But it's hard to be hyped about it too whenever you have the format set a certain way. It kind of takes the wind out of the sails. Again, that's college sports are only cool because they get so live. You know, like that's why I like going to the games instead of actually watching them on TV. You can kind of feel that, but going to the games, it's like way different. You get to feel all that excitement, and it's like an event and an experience that you have. But they kind of like what's the phrase? They basically like shortchange the experience to kind of fit where they need.
Yeah, it's not the same without a crowd. Also, at the beginning of the pandemic last year, we essentially figured out that it's free labor, and they're making all this money. Good news though, NFL is going to open every stadium in the league as a COVID-19 vaccination site. So the NFL is opening all 30 stadiums in the league to help administer the vaccines. Roger Goodell told President Joe Biden in a letter on Thursday that every team in the league would, quote, make its stadium available for mass vaccinations of the general public,
Nice.
end quote. This is also according to CNBC. So most of the stadiums, since you only had 2 teams in the Super Bowl, have already been transforming into coronavirus testing and vaccination sites.
Yeah, here
Arizona, the Falcons, Ravens, Panthers, Texans, Dolphins, Patriots all opened up their vaccination centers.
Nice. Yeah, here in DFW, the esports arena they're using for like the second shot location, just because it's so massive. They're like, they have the couple of county places are kind of small, but if you open up just even the esports arena, like you can already, one way in, one way out is how they do it. You open a whole stadium, like freaking the AT&T Stadium, which I don't know if y'all have been. It looks like the Death Star. You can see it from the highway. It's just so giant, and like you're far enough away, there's like a haze around it, and it looks very ominous. Like, yeah, you do one in, one out in that massive thing. Like you can get so many people up to date on their immunizations. That's awesome.
All right. Time to shift. We're almost out of time.
We are out of time. We're over time. It's at the buzzer. I didn't intend to transition like that. That just happened to work really great.
That's chemistry, y'all.
Couple shout outs here. Mural Javad Ifar. Oh my gosh, I knew I was gonna mess that up. I phonetically spelled it out and everything. And Lori Locust became the first women coaches to win a Super Bowl. In your face glass ceiling. Assistant defensive line coach Lori Locust and assistant strength and conditioning coach Mural Javadifar became the first women coaches to win a Super Bowl following the Bucs' 39-1 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. Shout out to them. Also shout out to oh my gosh, I forgot her name. The referee, she officiated. I chatted her out a couple weeks ago, but yeah,
Sarah.
Sarah. I can't remember her last name, but shout out to all 3 of them doing their thing.
Also, in your face, hater ass dudes. They have one more Super Bowl ring than you ever will.
Yep, exactly. Shout out to them. That's super dope. John, Tournament of Roses, suing the city of Pasadena.
That's what they get. Why?
You have this link here. See, this is why I like to just do the notes instead. Now I have to click this link because I can't do that quick. I
like to do the notes too, but
stalling for time here while this stupid thing.
Moving the Tournament of Roses, they moved the Rose Bowl to Texas.
Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah. So the restrictions in California, they were just like, why don't y'all just skedaddle on over to Cowboy Stadium? And then like they went over, and now they're like, nah, we don't like that, and we're gonna sue y'all for ownership of the trademark. And then it says here, the dispute originated to move this year's game to Arlington as a result of the pandemic. A move agreed to by the city. It has persisted through the city's continued insistence that it's the co-owner of the marks, and its content is necessary to invoke the MLA's force majeure clause. Basically saying, hey, basically saying, yo, the whole reason why it's named this thing is because of us, and now y'all are infringing upon our copyrights. You think this is gonna work, John? You think this is a good move?
It's weird that the city agreed to it, but also the Tournament of Roses should have known better. I don't even think they had their parade.
Yeah.
And California is one of the most stingiest upholding all the COVID enforcements. Moving it to Texas, it made sense, but Texas shouldn't be doing that in the first place.
Yeah, that's the only reason they did it, because they was like, hey, we're lax.
And of course, we all know it's a money thing, but I think that's a huge thing for the city of Pasadena, and it's probably going to backfire on them too, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, I'm interested to know how that's going to turn out. It's like you have a lot of people with money that are able to get lawyer teams together. Like this should be, it's basically
get your law teams together.
Get your law teams together. It's a heavyweight bout, basically. John, actually not even John. Y'all out here know y'all's black head coaches.
I was about to say, I know who these
Yeah, I was
are.
about to say, God dang it. So during a post Super Bowl 55 press conference, a reporter mixed up 2 prominent members of the Tampa Bay coaching staff, both of whom happen to be black. Per Roy Wood Jr., I just found it. Melanin misidentification disorder. So whenever your skin color makes you look like somebody else to white people, that's what that affliction is. Offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich was taking questions via video conference when Michael Donaldson asked him about stopping Patrick Mahomes on the defensive side of the ball, thinking he was interviewing the defensive coordinator, Ted Bowl.
How do you mess that up? They don't even look alike. Like, it's bad. They don't look alike at all.
Yeah, I saw.
The reporter was like, he repeated the question, which made it worse. So the reporter asked him the question the first time. He kind of rambles a little bit, then he asked him again. And Leftwich was just kind of looking around like, is this full serious? And he laughed it off, and he had fun with it. But you cannot mess that up. Also, that was the first question you got to ask Byron Leftwich. They tell you who you're talking to. Since there's so many media members and there's so many people coming in and out. They tell you exactly who you're talking to. So, homie out here, what's his name? Mikey Donaldson. That's a super white name.
I was about to say, you could just drop him if he's laying on the ground and you drop a box of saltines next to him. You won't even be able to tell who's Michael Donaldson and who's a cracker by stepping on it and crunch. He'll squish probably. So, John, this is the one shot I won't block. Bill Russell on getting the COVID vaccine. Are you with the old man's message here?
Bill Russell's not gonna make me go get a shot. Anything my family is, but yeah, I like this. I was with it when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did it, and I'm for it now. Bill Russell.
I like it's kind of a little.
Also, they're out here throwing COVID vaccines away like it's expired food.
Are they?
It's like, hey y'all, we're about to throw these donuts out. Y'all want them? Yeah. So they ended up giving to the centers for cheaper than they normally cost, and they're essentially just like getting people in just to get the vaccine.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's wild.
There was a truck that had got stopped. It got stopped because of weather, and it wasn't going anywhere. Everyone's cars that were behind it too, they were all snowed in. The people came out the truck and they'd be like, "Hey, y'all want this vaccine?" Which would be like, "Oh, dope," but then also like. Some random dude just came out of the middle of nowhere. We're all froze and like asking me if I want an injection. Like, nah.
It's probably in the Northwest because they're being blanketed in snow right now.
Yeah, it was. Oh, this was a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I get it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Sarah Thomas is the name of that referee. Yeah. See, we were on the right track. Last one here. Rest in power, Pedro Gomez. He was a correspondent for baseball with ESPN, and he's had such a storied career. And his family, he didn't live in Cuba, but his family came from there, and his pops in particular had promised to never go back. So his brother and his pops had passed away. I'd seen this. Scott Van Pelt had this story when he was talking to him for the. It was like, what was it? The college.
It was when Cuba had first opened up for tourism. And Pedro Gomez had the story about turning his dad and his brother's ashes to their home country, and that was very moving to watch.
Oh, I know.
And it's pretty much been on every package that ESPN has had since Pedro Gomez was announced that not he announced it himself, but they announced that he had passed away. And yeah, that was very moving. And my thing with him was, oh shit, that's cool. There's people like me doing this already, which very scarce. I don't like baseball, but Pedro Gomez made it very easy to follow some of the stuff that talking about stuff that was going on. He covered like the home run race between Bonds and Sosa, Sosa and McGuire, and the whole Barry Bonds thing, and he made baseball like less rigid, less stiff. You know how they do with all their unwritten rules and whatnot. But he was really good, and it sucks. He did outside the lines too, and just he was very classy, that dude. And it sucks because we essentially did grow up with him. If you've been watching the wide world of sports.
Yeah, I remember always seeing him whenever we watched ESPN, like after school and like high school and in college and stuff. And be like, oh, this dude's talking about baseball again. Like, that's cool. But like everybody else talking about it just seemed kind of like you were saying, kind of bland,
boring.
Kind of boring. And he was just like, the way he was talking and the way he presented everything was just like, it was not like he was super hype or anything, but he just seemed so cool and just so insightful, having been around the game as long as he has. Like, I don't have that perspective on baseball, so the fact that I got a little bit of that from him, it was like, it's really cool. And everybody had nothing but nice things to say about it. They always had
to say that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that. That's awesome. I mean, it's awesome that he had the impact on a lot of people's lives the way that he did. The following that he ended up getting from this too, and like, just the impact, being very a genuine and sincere person, as everybody would say about him. Yeah, that's a big loss, not for ESPN, but for the world, really. We need more people like that.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us on Facebook Live. We do this every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. If you didn't join us, find us on Facebook at We Got Next Podcast. Search We Got Next Podcast. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about us too. Word of mouth is usually the best way to get cool stuff out there. Find us wherever podcasts are available. Any major podcast streaming service, free to download, free to stream. Go to Spreaker, get our numbers up. We very much appreciate that. And subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts. Also, that helps you know when there's a new episode coming out. Twitter, Instagram at We Got Next _podcast. Excuse me, at We Got Next _pod for the podcast. Shoot your shot, everybody.
Hey, listen.